So regular expressions and form validations. I won't be speaking most of the validations because in jQuery we have a plugin wherein we can do these form validations. I'll only explain those validations, which are important in a sense. Okay, so I'll just show you guys how to call a form element using a DOM object, and then applying the string functions on it, and applying these regular expressions on it. And for regular expressions, I'll tell you guys a hack. Like you have regular expression for everything, for every validation. You don't have to remember anything. All you gotta do is, like, whenever you need something, you just have to Google it, saying, hey, regular expression for validating the email, regular expression for validating the say multi-password, let's say, like multi-password in the sense a strong password, regular expression for validating a mobile number, an American mobile number. So you can get any regular expression from internet, so from Google. So so aren't we going deep into regular expressions again, because that job will be done easily via Google than JavaScript. I mean, me teaching over here. But I'll give you an introduction, like how, in case if you really want to go for interviews, answer these. I'll just suggest you guys one thing. If you're going for interviews, just make a cheat sheet of regular expressions, like jump. I'll start with form validations, okay? So then I'll move to regular expressions. All right, so form validations. Now, what is the need of validating a form in first place? Why should we validate a form? For instance, if you guys remember in the forms class, like if you miss it out, yeah, you still have videos back there in the forms class. Forms are the only way users can communicate with the browser or with us, let's say. Okay, so for instance, you see contact us. Okay, contact us is to send a message to the owner of the website, saying, hey, I want to meet you, or it's a good site, feedback, something like that. A login. All right, so if somebody wants to access something, they have to log in, then register. So these are all forms. Right now, there are so many people out there on internet. Okay, so their job is to only just to fill in the forms, submit junk data, so that you save this data and your database gets filled, or some malicious data wherein you access the data so that it redirects to something else. So to avoid unnecessary security problems, we need to validate. We can't just is the spelling right? Yeah, necessary. Okay, so for this reason we gotta validate the data. Sometimes what happens, SQL injection is a problem. So again, I'm just saying JavaScript validation, a SQL injection is a PHP validation, but still we need to do this because this can corrupt the database. Okay, so I mean, we have to avoid these kind of unnecessary security problems. So for that, we need to validate the data submitted by the users. So that's the only reason we have to validate the data. So how does the data come from? The data comes from the forms. So whatever the interactions users do with the server is via forms. So that's the reason it's called form validations. All right, now, so form validations. For instance, there is a field called username. So what does the name has? Name is always alphabet, right? It should not be numbers, right? It should not be, name is not special characters, right? So we have to validate this, because to avoid unnecessary data, we have to validate it. Now there is a mobile number, let's say. Okay, mobile number should always be digits. And for India, in India the mobile number starts from 7, right? It starts from 7, and 7, it's something like this, 7 8. It starts with 7 6 7 7 7 8 7 9. I'm just giving some random things here. So we need to validate this data. It should be only digits, and it should start from 7 to 9. It should not start with 0 or 1. There are no phone numbers like 1 2 3 4 5 6. Sometimes people submit 1 2 3 4 5 6 as mobile number. So we need to avoid that. And emails. Okay, for email validation, in HTML5, actually everything can be validated using HTML5. So it's very easy in HTML5 instead of our HTML. So yeah, that can be done. But if you are using type equal to text, say, then you have to validate for email. If not HTML5, you have to validate for an email has always @ symbol and some .com or some .in or something, .org at the end, etc. So these are all like valid data. If I say email, then it should have @.com, .in, .org at the end, etc. Okay, then what else we got? Username, mobile, emails, and sometimes checkboxes like the terms and conditions. It has to be checked or not. It has to be checked. Likewise, radio buttons, select values. So everything has to be validated if it's a form. Okay. So, but we don't see all of this because we have a powerful jQuery plugin to validate form data. So the purpose of this class is to access form data via DOM and check for basic validations. We don't go deep into the validations. Okay, so now let's see first an example for form. We'll write a form, then we see how the data can be accessed via DOM. Okay, I'm just gonna share my screen here. So yeah, you guys see my screen here? Yes? Can you see the screen here? Okay, great. So let's just open a new file here. Doc type HTML. I'll show you the HTML5 validation too. It's pretty awesome actually. HTML5 form elements. So maybe if I get time, I'll write a blog about this HTML5 form elements so you guys can have access to it, a proper access, I say.